there's like a growing sentiment, I think, again socially, amongst consumers, voters, and employees, that trust is at an all-time low. And also, trust and faith are kind of linked as well. So faith that things will turn around, or trust that people's actions and hearts are in the right place. And obviously, this impacts a lot of things at work. A few of which you've met, or a lot of which you've mentioned: happiness, morale, culture, engagement, turnover, sense of belonging. Why do you think this is, and what do you think leaders can do to eradicate fear and build trust and actually impact the cultures positively?
Yeah, I love this part of the book, and it's the part of the book where I learnt the most. It's sort of the things that I've been reading and learning about for years as a sort of just a consumer of leadership journals and information that is well beyond the law. And the concept of fear and the science behind fear, and the material that I put in the book around what Dr. Zach and Novak in their findings revealed is really some of the most powerful information in the link between these toxic workplaces and burnout. And I start with fear because fear is the antithesis of trust, which is what we're trying to achieve. And again, the research in the book is that fear and trust cannot coexist. It's one or the other, and fear is like poison. Once it's pervasive, and once it's in your culture, and that's what the dominant emotion people are feeling when they walk in the room, that it's almost impossible for you to create a foundation of trust and psychological safety, which is what we need to ensure inclusion and high performance teams. And when you look at the phases of fear from a scientific point of view, and you'd be more familiar with these than I am, they talk about the alarm phase, which is where humans recognize danger and they prepare to respond to a threat. And then you've got the resistance phase, which is where they begin to restore their balance and recover. Their stress hormones decrease, but their energy and adaptability is still compromised. And then they go into exhaustion phase. And that's the impact of stress on the body, and it's sort of the sustained impact over time, and then the ability to resist sort of situations, and of course, even physical hazards like illness are compromised. There's fatigue, there's overload, there's burnout. So fear being the cause or the consequence of behaviours like bullying, sexual harassment, hostile work environments, aggression, that undeniably links to burnout, and then dysfunction obviously also perpetuates. That was the other research that was very clear. You can't, it's very difficult to ring fence it. People look, it's that broken window theory. People think, oh, well, no one's looking. If he's getting away with it, then she can get away with it. If she can get away with it, then I can get away with it. And so you get that. And we know that from basic work health and safety. Remember back in the day when we were doing 101, sort of trip hazards from work health and safety, and you've got to pick up the small stuff because that's what leads to the big stuff. So we flip that on its head, and then we look at the data around trust. And like you said, trust is at an all-time low, and it's so hard. It's easy. It's hard to earn, but it's easy to lose. And to earn it, from where we see it, you need to make sure that you are consistent in the way that you guard your values. For example, people will say they buy into your purpose and they buy into your values. You need to maintain that consistency, and you can't compromise that, or you can't breach their trust in terms of you saying we're creating a respectful workplace or we're creating an inclusive workplace by then making exceptions. And then we talk about the data around sort of, in order to create a positive workplace, you need to have both trust and psychological safety. And trust is the degree towards it's described as the degree to which I will give you the benefit of the doubt for your behaviour. And psychological safety is the degree to which I perceive you will give me the benefit of the doubt for my behaviour. And it's only when you've got both, that you create an environment where there's that mutual trust and safety, and people can, we can start to work towards inclusion and belonging, which is where, as you know, the magic happens. So you can only